How is it going, guys? Today we are installing the new Driven Media Renegade fourth brake light on the GR86. Now I know there are a bunch of different aftermarket fourth brake light options out there, but these have to be one of my favorites due to the old school retro design. There's currently two different options to choose from on the website. We've got the CBR, which is a clear lens black base with red parking light diffusers, or you can go with the SBR, which is essentially the same thing, but with a smoked lens, giving you that stealth look that I know a lot of people love. If you happen to pick up the CBR and later on down the road you wish you would have gone with the SBR, you can actually just pick up a reverse light overlay and it installs the same way it would on the OEM reverse light assembly. So you can go with a light smoke, or dark stealth if you want the matte finish to match the black plastic of the bumper, or you can even go with the red if you're looking for something a bit different. These are 100% plug and play. They come with a wiring harness to route up to your taillight, so you don't have to do any custom wiring or splicing whatsoever. I'm gonna show you guys how easy they are to install, show you the functions and how they look on the car, and I'll even install the overlays on the CBR so you can see how that looks as well. First things first, we obviously need to uninstall the OEM reverse light assembly, and to do so, we need to remove this cover that sits in the middle of your bumper. If you look on the underside, there's 3 pop clips holding it in place. So we're gonna take those out. To take the cover off, you can pull down on the underside. That's gonna open up a gap between the lens and the cover itself. And then we can just work our fingers around the edges to pop it out. That reveals the 2 10mm bolts that are holding the assembly in place. So we'll remove those and then we can pull the assembly out. Keep in mind when you're pulling this out, there is still a connection on the backside for the reverse lights themselves that we need to disconnect. For me anyway, this connection is a pain to get out. So what I usually do is take a flathead screwdriver and unclip it from the backside of the reverse light assembly. That way you have a little bit more room to unplug it. And I usually can't get it with my fingers, so I just use the flathead to depress the tab, and then it comes right out. Also, don't worry about these wires. This is for my JDM fourth brake light that I have installed in this assembly, but if you don't have this installed, then you don't have to worry about it. We are gonna need to remove one of the taillights. I recommend the one on the driver's side, so grab a plastic pry tool to pry this panel off. We're gonna insert it into this gap between the gasket of the trunk and the panel itself, and then just pry towards the back of the car. We'll remove these 2 10mm bolts. And there's one at the top of the taillight that we'll need to remove as well. With those bolts removed, we can grab the taillight and pull it directly towards the back of the car to pop it out. If this is your first time doing this, it's gonna give you a good amount of resistance, and I also recommend that you put some tape around the edges so you minimize the risk of scratching your paint. Since I've done this a good amount of times, it shouldn't be too bad. There we go. So now just disconnect it and we're good to go. With the taillight out of the way, grab the included harness and we're gonna route the end with the small white connector down towards the opening for the reverse light. Then on this end, make sure you connect the 2 white wires together. The green wire you're gonna leave out, and I'll just electrical tape it to the rest of the bunch of wires and connect the red to red as well. We're gonna connect this end into the OEM taillight harness, and then we can reinstall the taillight. This end plugs into the taillight itself. Make sure all the wires are tucked back here. And then carefully slide the taillight back into place. Most important thing is getting the tab on the outer side lined up. And it should slide right back in. Reinstall the 3 10mm bolts. We can pop the cover back on. And now we can install the new fourth brake light. I've routed the other side of the harness through the same opening that the OEM reverse light harness comes out of. You're gonna wanna grab the short harness that's included and plug the gray connector into the reverse light harness, like so. The brown connector is not going to be used in our case because it's not meant for USDM cars. This is meant for cars that come with the rear fog light from the factory. So if you have that, you're going to use the brown connector instead of the gray connector. Now we can take the two white connectors and plug them into our new fourth brake light. They should snap right into place. I'm going to push some of this excess harness back through the hole and we'll zip tie that away once we're all finished. Now this should slide right into the opening, just like the OEM assembly. Reinstall the two 10mm bolts. Pop this cover back on. We'll reinstall the three pop clips, and then we're done. All right, I'm gonna run through the functions with you guys. I'll start by turning the headlights on so you can see the startup sequence, where it's kind of a sequential effect before the light becomes solid. And this is how it's gonna look when you're driving around at night with your headlights on. I'll step on the brakes next. You'll see that center portion light up. It is very bright. This is a great way to improve your visibility to others. And then I'll put the car in reverse, and you'll see that it is the outer portion of the center. And even though it's a smaller section compared to the OEM reverse light assembly, it's actually brighter because they're LEDs instead of the halogen bulbs in the stock assembly. So let me turn the lights off so you can see how it would look during the day. So here's the brake lights. And here's the reverse again. Now that we've seen what both the CBR and SBR looks like, let's play around with some overlays on the CBR for those of you that are curious. I'm gonna start with the light smoke here. I'm gonna try and do this quickly, so if there's bubbles, just ignore them. So the light smoke obviously darkens up the lens a little bit, not as dark as the SBR because I can still make out the fine details inside the light itself, but it does add a very nice stealth look. I'm gonna pull this off and we'll install the dark smoke. So here is the dark smoke. I would say the dark smoke is very much comparable to the SBR, and the darkness actually matches up really well with the black plastic on the bumper. So again, if you picked up a CBR and later on you change your mind, you can just get the dark smoke overlay to match the SBR. Let's pull this off and we'll install my personal favorite, which is dark stealth. So I get asked this question a lot: what is the difference between dark stealth and dark smoke? The only difference is the finish. So dark stealth has a matte finish to it, whereas both light smoke and dark smoke have a gloss finish to it. So the matte finish is going to match up a little bit better with the black plastic of the bumper, since it's a textured finish instead of a gloss finish. I'm doing a great job here. I don't know how well this is gonna translate on camera, but this dark stealth with the matte finish just blends so well with the black plastic of the bumper, which is exactly why it's my favorite option. So we will pull this off, and just for shits and giggles, I'm gonna install the red on there just so you can see. Obviously, if you install this on your reverse light assembly, it's going to turn your reverse lights red, but some people don't mind, and they like the unique look. I don't have it lined up perfect, but it should give you an idea of how it would look. Let me toss the cover back on just to see. There you go. And there you have it, guys. It is really that easy. Like I said, it's 100% plug and play, super simple installation, and a fantastic way to change up the look of the rear end while also improving your visibility to others. I know there's tons of distracted drivers out there nowadays, so doing what you can to make your car more visible is always a great modification. If you're wanting to pick one of these up for yourself, the link is down in the description. If you have any questions whatsoever, comment down below. I'm always happy to help. If you want a chance to win one of these, go watch the previous video. I'm gonna be announcing the giveaway winner in next week's video. Good luck to everybody who participates, but hopefully you guys are enjoying the new content. If you are, make sure to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.